Hey, this is John Cooper, and you're listening to Missin Curfew.
Fella,
My man.
the Up Dog Fella Friday continues, and who better than this beauty?
Coach Coop.
Coop.
I think he needs no introduction, although I got a little intro page here by my boy Max.
Maxie's ready to rock for the upcoming season.
Good Western Leaguer here, by the way.
Where's he from? Prince George, British Columbia.
And, young, too. I'm not going to give away his age, but he's young. Listen, longest tenured coach in the NHL currently. He's been coaching, and he talks about this since 2012, his 12th year coming up. Pretty good success this young man's had.
I mean, if you're you had a great question. If you're a young and up-and-coming coach now, if I was, John Cooper would be the guy I called to reach out for some advice. I mean, look at this rap sheet there. Resume, I should say.
I remember getting to Florida, too, and it was his first. Me and you
have rap sheets. He has resumes.
And he got his team right away playing well. Like, you could tell he came in, players coach, had success, call it out of high school, college.
AHL,
and then now 2-time Stanley Cup champion and well-deserved, a 4-time Eastern Conference champ.
Calder Cup champ.
And then what a legend, lives at Gaza Ranch. I mean, doesn't need any more introduction than that. But, they're starting off training camp, and we've been diving into some people, asking them a lot of questions on how camp's going. But this is a nice insight from a coaching standpoint. And would love to play for this guy.
We should be living at Gaza Ranch. Why did we not buy a place at Gaza Ranch fucking 10 years? Are we like, God, imagine spending the summers there. What happened?
We got to get a couple more spots.
I can't afford it now. It's too expensive now. But we could have backdoored our way into Gaza Ranch, hanging out with Rusty and Coop and Morrill.
Just America's best guest.
Yeah. I'm not getting the invites like I used to either. I think the fucking cat's out of the bag up.
So, Coach Coop, coming up.
Fella. Welcome back to Missin Curfew. Up Dog, our man.
I guess so.
2-time Stanley Cup champ. Listen, he'd be a member of the All Beauty team too. He's been great to us over the years. He's become a good friend of Missin Curfew. He gave us the first T-shirts. He was the first guy to take his shirt off of Missin Curfew too. I thought it was going to be you, but he came out with that. So, John Cooper, Coop, thank you so much, my man. So listen, this is obviously your office, and we are buddies now. But I got to think, if I played for you, I might have been in there a couple times with you. Would you disagree with that or agree with that?
So this one, not maybe as much. So we're in a practice rink, so we're not here as much. But I never got to see your practice habits. Poppy, how were they? How was practice?
I caught the summer habits, and when he showed up, they were pretty good. Actually, they were pretty good. A lot of backhand sauce. I mean, his D partner. There's a lot of batting pucks down. Those never-ending sauces were coming rink wide at you.
Coop, I always had the saying, if we had the puck, they can't score, fellow, right? I mean, if we have it, how can they score, Coop?
That's true. That's the best defense.
Listen, buddy, I appreciate you taking the time. First of all, how was your summer? We all know the last 3 years of your hockey club, the success you've had with the 2 cups and 3 finals. And listen, I thought you played a hell of a series against the Leafs. It didn't go your way. But looking back now after a nice summer off, you must be feeling nice and refreshed and maybe a little more excited. I don't know. How you feeling?
So 3 finals in a row. And going to the third one was such a grind. I was so proud of the guys, getting that far. Unfortunately, we lost to an exceptional Colorado team. But it was tough. And I remember coming back that year for our third run, and training camp was tough. Like, I actually purposely made training camp light just so it didn't feel like such a grind when we came in. And it was honestly, it was tough coming to the rink from day one. You got to we were in game 4. I think we might have started 1-3 or something happened, and it was tough. So we went to the final. Then the next year we come back, and again, the guys, I got to give them so much credit for what they did and how they came back. We were missing some guys to start the year, and we eventually made the playoffs again. And it just wasn't our turn. And Toronto played well and knocked us out, and we were crushed because we thought we played a pretty good series. And we didn't win. So then it was like, now what? Like, it's the season ended, 2 weeks ago, and now we're out. But as it went on, and going back and looking at the series, we needed a break, and for so many different reasons. Not only to heal the physical wounds, but the mental battering we've taken, and I've probably given these guys over like pushing their buttons for 3 straight or 4 straight postseasons. I think it was great. And so offered guys opportunities to go on vacations they hadn't been able to go on before, including myself. And so it was coming back. Like I said, we've never had this many guys back in so early because it's so hot here and guys don't come back. And everybody was here like a month early. So they've been really excited to get back. And I can see a renewed energy in training camp this year.
So, Coop, when you talk about yourself as a coach and everything you just went through at those 3 years, did you have some time this summer to maybe reflect and sit back and not make adjustments to how you're going to coach, but just maybe take a breather for yourself and look back on the success you have had and maybe things you might want to change moving forward? Or did you have any time for yourself to just kind of soak it in?
There's no question. And we hadn't gone on a vacation with my wife. I couldn't even tell you how long. So we actually went to Europe, and so we got to go to Italy, and then we went to Greece. One of my best friends got married in Greece, so that was kind of our excuse to go over there. So that was great at the end of June to be able to go through that, and then we came back through, for free agency. But before we did that, we spent a lot of time as a staff saying, okay, how do we need to evolve with this game? Because when you go to 3 straight finals, it's kind of hard to change stuff. And the guys look at you and say, well, coach, why are we tweaking this when we've had so much success? I can't argue with the boys. So there's been preparation for quite some time now of, hey, how can we make ourselves better with the personnel we have and some of the guys we've changed out? Because we got to keep up with the times and what's going on. And so our staff did a great job with that. So, are we tweaking some things? We are. And us, it's in the personnel we have, we think it's going to help us. And so pretty excited about that because, little change is good. And whether you're changing your team and players, whether you're changing a little bit your system, I think it keeps guys on their toes a bit. And so it was great for that. And then once we kind of figured all that stuff out, we had our summer to ourselves until I brought all the boys out to Idaho for meetings at the end of August.
For some team building.
Yeah, we've been building,
Coop.
We've been in those meetings, Coop. Hey, just to jump on, the evolution you were talking about of your team. The NHL is often referred to as a copycat league, right? All the teams don't make the playoffs, all the coaching staffs, and we had a chance to talk with Talk over playoffs, but he's watching film and he's watching teams, and for years, Coop, teams were watching you, and their teams were watching how you guys were built, how your goaltending from goaltending to forwards to the additions to make your team depth better. What did you take out of last year's playoff run when there's a couple new teams at the top and the Vegas Golden Knights play the way they do and the Edmonton Oilers are built like they are? Do you focus on your group still, or do you look at what won the year past? Is it something that kind of comes into mind?
So it's a little bit of both. What I have found is the recipe has not changed. You got big, strong, fast skaters. It doesn't matter for years. That really helps.
Yeah.
It helps them superstars naturally, but I think the great thing about the playoffs is they're just that first round. I always say there's so much chaos in the first round, and you just got to get out of it. And once you get out of the first round, then who knows what happens? And Florida's like a perfect example of that. They were down and out, down 3-1. I think they were even losing, correct me if I'm wrong, with like a minute and a half left in game 7. And they found a way to pull that out. All of a sudden, your team gels and now you roll. And so I've always found big message to our guys is always that. It's like, you got to grind through that first round because it's so much chaos. And then you go. Now, system-wise, it's interesting because you look at some teams, and whether a team plays man-to-man or zone or a little bit of hybrid in between, depending on personnel of other teams, some teams, for instance, will excel against a certain system and some teams struggle. And so that's another thing about is matchups matter, who you run into. When we won our cups, there were teams that were like, oh my gosh, thank goodness I got knocked out. Who knows how it would have gone,
for sure.
Or like, it's a team lost some players and you're like, oh man, that kind of went our way. And then when you lose, the same things happen against you. And you're like, oh gosh, this is going to make it tough on us. So, but I do look at our team, and first and foremost, you have to look at the personnel you have, and you have to go from there. I don't think you can just copycat somebody's system and say, okay, this is good for us. But I do believe everybody's system works. It's just you got to get your guys to buy into it. And then when they perfect it and they're doing everything in the system, I think you can have success. But it's the buy-in, not so much the exact system, I think, that actually works.
It is training camp, Coop, here, but I'm going to ask you a playoff question again, because you asked about how the round one is complete chaos, and I love the way you handle yourself in the media. I love the way you handled yourself this year against the Leafs, but you said after game one, which you guys won, that game one is overrated. And I sat back and I was like, fuck, I wonder what Coop means, because as a player, I was always like, up dog, we got to get game one here. Let's make a fucking statement, boys, and go get these guys. And you made that. So can you explain to me, I guess, and our listeners, what you meant by game, don't overreact, I guess, win or lose, right?
Win or lose. So you look at both the playoff series we played against the Leafs. The team that won the series lost game one, and you don't want, like, of course you want to win game one. Naturally, you do. You want to cut this down, and all of a sudden now a team's got to beat you 4 to 6 times, and all that mathematics works. But that game one, there's so much going on. Like, the players are running at each other. Like, everybody's so excited. It's like everybody's on roids, and it's just like go, and you just get through that game, but look what happened. We won that game. We lost Chernak, we lost Hedman, we lost Weissman, and so now, like, it becomes, holy cow! Like, look at the things that are happening now. Most often, you don't lose, to guys to injury like that in game one. But it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And you have to have your guys understand that. Like, it's not the biggest thing. It's for us. It's okay if you lose game one. You don't want to. We're not telling the guys that, but it's like, hey, everybody take a breath, because we haven't figured them out yet. And you go in these regular season games and you're playing like Anaheim one night, LA the next night, and then you're in San Jose, it's 3 and 4, and you're playing different systems. You're playing a team potentially 7 times in a row. You can start figuring these guys out. And even in those runs we've made, the year before, when we lost to the Leafs in game one, won the series. We lost to the Rangers. We were down 0-2 against the Rangers that year and came back and won the series. So there is a little thing about figuring guys out. You just can't fall too far behind. Yeah. And so that's why I say game one's a luxury if you get it, but by no means does that mean you're going to win the series.
Coop, this is another personal question coming from you, fella. My playoff success, like when I won a game, I thought we're going to win the Stanley Cup. Here we go. What am I doing? Then we lost the game. I'm like, we're done. We're done. Fuck, we're done.
So you were?
I was an emotional roller coaster.
I was the highs and lows, Coop. I was like, we got these guys, and oh no, now like, obviously you probably weren't to that extent, but maybe some of your, like, when did you learn like to be kind of like that? Because we all know you guys had a little bit of struggle at the start, and then you, like, how long did it take to be like, boys, it's only one game?
You think about when I started in this league, and when I first got the job back in 2013, and then we start going through the year, and I remember we made the playoffs against Montreal, and we got swept. But I remember like living and dying on every play, and like I don't have a ton of hair as it is. I mean, it's going as it is. I would have had way less had I not controlled my emotions and taken a step back. And everybody made fun of me for a long time and taking it out on my gum that I was chewing. And it's like part of you is I'm a believer that your team will kind of mirror how you're acting as a coach. So if you're getting emotional and you're going nuts, you know what? Your guys are probably they're going to be feeling that too. And all of a sudden they might respond that way. And so, you take a step back, you look, you watch, you digest, and then you start seeing patterns and things like that. And then you adapt. But early in my career, oh man, like I was living, and I was like you, I was the roller coaster up and down. And so I had to control that in me. And I think over time, experience is a big thing. Like I say, you go and take your written driver's test and you may pass it with flying colors. That doesn't mean like you can drive a car. Yeah. You still have to get behind the wheel and drive the car. That's when you find out if you're a good driver. And part of that for me was learning behind the bench in the NHL. how to coach in the NHL. I knew how to coach. I just didn't know how to coach quite the way NHL coaches coach, and I had to learn that.
Doesn't mean you can parallel park in a tough spot, eh? Coop, doesn't mean you
got to live in the
back-
city
you
for
can't
that,
back
but
Well, now, hey,
New York City.
yeah, and those kids now, they're like these cars, you just push a button and the damn thing does it for you.
It's just a little love tap, eh? You get that guy?
Yeah.
Hey, Coop,
I can squeeze that in there.
I make that play.
My year I went to St. Louis. It was, a little bit later in my career, but I got to play for Ken Hitchcock at the time. And he said something to me interesting before training camp. He said, I went in on a PTO actually too. I'll just throw that out there. He said, Uppy, this group of guys here, I've been with them a long time. And, so have you in Tampa. These guys, there's nothing left for me to do with them. They need to govern themselves. They need to take the next step together. I don't have to do a thing. They have the game plan. Is that sort of mentality ever been part of your philosophy now that you've been with these guys forever? Like, do you know what you get out of these players where you can just say, my leaders know what they do. They can lead by example, and they go out. I've given them the game plan. Like, is that sort of a mentality?
Hitch is dead on. Okay, and I think part of this reason is why I became a coach and why I left law, and what this is my personality. I always have this saying: on bad teams, nobody leads. On good teams, coaches lead. On great teams, players lead. And I'm a true believer in that. And so what happens? The biggest joy I get, other than raising the Stanley Cup, is if you have that opportunity, is taking a group of 23 guys or 22 guys, and by the end of the year, making them one. I say that you know when you're going to win, because after you've gone through that regular season, you're standing on the bench, and you don't even have to call the lines out, and the guys are just doing it. Like, basically, you're going to win, is when you just sit in the back and watch.
Yeah.
And all the team knows exactly what they're doing. They know who's going out. They know when they're going out. And that's kind of that cool, like, warm feeling inside where you're like,
Hell yeah.
oh my God, this is unreal. The guys are just doing it themselves. And, obviously as a team, you're a big part of that, but that's when you kind of got something. Hitch is right. They coach themselves, but at the end, you got a good chance of winning.
Yeah. You get in that flow state, they call it, where it's all slow. The boys know exactly.
I played for some teams. I played for some teams we were coaching ourselves, but we weren't coaching it the right way, Coop. I'm like, quit turning that over. Like, whose guy was that? Was that my guy?
Well, the coaching should have been at 7 p.m., not at 3 a.m.
Hey, Coop, we're obviously, training camp start here, and, this is going to be probably not going to shock you, but I wasn't a big fitness testing guy. I wasn't huge into it. I didn't think that it really mattered, results on the ice. Like, everybody's in shape now, but Coops, can't you tell once camp starts, like, you can tell what guys maybe put the extra work in, or is that fitness testing that important to you? You see what I'm trying to say here? Like, you can tell as a guy, like, once the puck drops and camp starts, who's in shape, who's not.
Okay, so here's what I have to say about that. So people get judged on strength. All right, so who is the kid that couldn't do the pull-ups or whatever? Was that anyway?
Oh, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins? Was it Ryan Nugent-Hopkins? I couldn't do a pull-up.
Anyway, he's a hell of a player.
You know, to look further, this guy across the mic.
I can't drop the name, but anyway, I coached against a kid. He's a hell of a player. And so sometimes guys do have to get stronger, but like, if I saw Nikita Kucherov come into my room and all of a sudden he's just cut and ripped and benching 220, I'd be like, I'm not sure I want that, because that's not the way he is. That's not the way he operates on the ice. His strength, his quickness and elusiveness and seeing the ice and all that stuff. These guys have benchmarks about when they come in and when they're in shape. But I'm not always the guy that's sitting here saying, oh my God, if he didn't improve his bench press, you're out. No, that's not how it is for me. Everybody should be, you judge the guys on their body type and how they are and how, what makes them work. And so I'm probably a little bit on your side, Obi, and some of that stuff. But you can't come in at camp saying like, oh, I'm going to get in shape in camp.
No.
Like we're out right now. I guarantee you 32 teams in this league could play a game right now and have no problem with it. That's how in shape these guys are. And so it's the things completely change. but I don't sit here and say, hey, you can't bench press 150 10 times. You're on the bench till you do that. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
How was today, by the way? So how was day one? Are they going out like game one of the playoffs? Are you easing them into it? Are you seeing, did you get the whistle going and the boys, board to board at the end of this one?
We had a couple of battles today. It's great. You get those competition things going. Yeah, you got to make sure the guys know they've been on the ice, but they haven't touched each other. So, it's always good. I'll find a way to pair the guys up that are buddies that I know are going to be tripping each other the entire time, or guys that are from the same country overseas. You put them against each other, and it always just elevates everything. So, I like to create a bunch of competition in camp. And so I think it's good. It's like when the boys see like that your big boys battling and grinding, I love that. It elevates the camp.
Coop, is there a guy that you as the season goes on, or you get in some lulls or really big highs? Do you got a mentor? Do you got a guy that you often reach out to level you out or ask questions to? Has there been a guy throughout your through your career that you reach out to, or is there someone, maybe the younger guy that you're helping out nowadays?
What's crazy is like I've always kind of look at myself as like I'm always kind of eyes wide open. I'm like, I just feel like I'm the young guy. I don't know. It's always been like that. Maybe it's just the naivete of me, but apparently I'm one of the older guys now. I get calls from people and I'm like, why are you calling me? Oh, right. I guess I've been in the league for a little while. There was like, there's naturally guys you respect. And honestly, Scotty Bowman, he comes to so many of our games. And by the way, Scotty, I don't know, he probably don't know if he listens to this, but he just turned 90.
Happy birthday!
A couple days ago.
Wow,
yeah,
insane.
Scotty, happy birthday! Yeah. And so he's a guy that he'll sneak down and talk, and then he probably doesn't realize I'm wanting these questions answered, but he's always a wealth of knowledge. Like he's as smart today as he was when he was 20. Like he's got such a wealth of knowledge. So it was always good to pick his brain when it's coming along.
Yeah, you're right about that. I had Scotty on your boy Steve Cooley's show last year. I helped out Cool on the power play, and Scotty Bowman came on, and how sharp he still was, Coop, and how he knew the stories from back in the day and the players still. I was like, wow, this guy's impressive.
It's amazing. And so he lives down here in Florida, so he sneaks into so many of the games, and so does Jimmy Devillano, and they're just a wealth of knowledge. They've seen it all, and so you'd be remiss if you weren't trying to pick the brain a little bit.
Coop, last season we were lucky enough in the Stadium Series game. We got to, hang out with you and hang around your guys you had. And obviously we're good buddies with Patty Maroon and Corey Perry. And, we get it. It's a business. Things move on. You lost some veteran guys is what I'm saying, Coop. I know how much those guys meant to you. What's it going to be like? Who are you leaning on? How's it going to be without having those glue guys around? And guys I know that meant a lot to you.
That's tough. And I don't make any bones about it. Right? I'm glad that the reason guys move on is because, they have a small window to make some money. And so when a team has success, I just tell all the boys, you'll have success. And whether that's personal on the ice or, financially, eventually you'll get that. And I've got to watch so many of these players that we've had here move on and do well because, like I said, everybody's career, you never know when it's going to get cut short. And so, we've had some unbelievable people here, really dear to me, that are probably more than, coach-player relationship. They become friends. Patty Maroon, I coached when he was 16 for 2 years in junior, got him again when he was in pro, and we've had a lot of success together. We won championships in junior and in the NHL. So it's a different relationship when, I know him when he was 16. Guys like Corey Perry, I just can't say enough about that guy. And for whatever he's going to bring to Chicago, if you're looking for somebody to mentor somebody, there's your guy. There's nobody more nails than that guy. And he's he's like a coach on the bench. Just always says the right things. He's just got a presence about him. But and then Killorn, and you just go down the list. Like I've been his only pro coach, and he's 700 games in, and so how much these guys meant to that chapter of the last decade of Lightning hockey. But I'm also happy for them because we had our run together. They're going on to their new chapter, but there'll always be a special place in my heart for them. There'll always be Bolts. They always put their stamp on us winning. And so I guess the only positive out of this is that they all went to the West.
Yeah.
Don't have to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like between Belly and Ross Colton, everybody went to the West. Yeah. So like, I'm happy about that.
Ross Colton, another kid. I know you love his game. I love that kid's game too. You might have the best Corey Perry fucking line of the year last year. They go, hey, Coach Coop, how long do you think Paris could play for you? Like, I don't know. How long do worms live for? I don't know. How long do worms live for? I was like, fuck, Coop, that is great. But, hey, Coop, just parlaying that, all those guys you lost, you still got your core foundation. And I heard a comment from your big boy on the back end, I believe it was this morning, maybe yesterday, about it was a long summer. It's time to go. Camp is short. It's about details. It's about almost saying like, okay, here we go, boys. So it's got to be nice to know that you still have your core group of guys, and a guy like Victor Hedman saying, all right, for you new boys, let's go. Training camp has started.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to sit here and say, I feel sorry for us and that we don't have anything. Like we've got a fabulous core down the middle in Vasi, and we've got some big time defensemen and everywhere. I can go down Cooch and Stammer and Point and Srelly and Hetty, and so just go down the list of these guys. That's a phenomenal core, and they're still all in their prime. We've just had to, because of cap constraints, we've just got to filter in everything around them. As sad as it was to lose the guys we have, it does bring opportunity for others, whether it's in our organization or bringing some of these guys in. And Sheary comes in, like, phenomenal kid, and Glendening, he's already joking around. He was doing these face-off drill against Pointer today, and the big joke for him was like, oh my God, I've been on the wrong side of this face-off for so many years. But it's, Calvin DeHaan, I had him at World Championships, just a complete glue guy for us. And so, you're getting to know some other kids, and we did a great thing in the league 2 weeks ago where we brought all the league did a phenomenal job of bringing all the coaches and all the GMs, and we went to Chicago for a day and a half. And it was great to see all these guys, but you talk players, and it was kind of an intimate setting for all of us. And they talk about some of these guys that we are on our team now. Well, they were talking about them the same way I talk about Killer, Perry, Maroon, go down the list, Goudreau, Coleman, Gord, like all those guys. And so it's pretty cool that, I think our scouts did a great job in bringing some of the players in that I think are going to be, fit right into the Bolts plan.
Yeah, I agree. One more guy, Tyler Motte. I like that pickup for you guys. Tyler Motte's a kid that, this better. Like he'll block shots, he'll penalty kill, he'll play up. I think Tyler Motte's going to be a nice fit for you boys as well.
I think so. Think about that. We were chatting today was back in 2002, I think it was, I coached Honey Baked in Detroit. So I coached the midget major team there, and so Motte played. He was a Honey Baked kid. He came 10 years after me, but so we have a good laugh about the old.
Did you win a championship there too? Or?
No, I only played. Well, actually, we had a hell of a team. But I remember that was the year Sid the Kid was on Shattuck, and we played them, and so our we actually beat them the one game at a tournament. Our teams were so good. We were playing this tournament in I think it was Madison, Wisconsin, and we both had been upset. So the teams that were moving on, and there were so many scouts there that wanted to see us play, they rearranged the tournament just so the Honey Baked and Shattuck could play, and it was a hell of a game. And but no, that was we did not win the state championship that year.
Coop, one last guy I want to talk to you about here. We got a couple fun ones for you after that. Is a kid, Tanner Jeannot, that I absolutely love. From a personal level, how's he looking? He's an old school pro to me. When you guys got him, I love that pickup. How's he fitting in, and how's he looking so far? I know camp just started, but since he's got it down.
Guys want to come in here and do so well, and then they go and they, in their eyes, because they haven't pointed, they don't feel like they're doing well. And that's my biggest, we try and impart to guys like, listen, you don't have to score. We didn't just go play your game. Let everything feel out. You got like for 10 games until you start feeling our vibe, knowing what we're about. And I remember like Blake Coleman didn't score forever. Goody didn't score. Like guys were coming in here like, oh my God. I remember David Spard came in and he's like, holy cow, like I feel like I'm letting you guys down. I'm like, no, you've been unreal. And the same with Gino. Gino came in, he was struggling, and we're like, he just keep plugging away. And then he playing unreal for us. We're like, ooh, this kid he's coming to his own. And then he had that awful ankle roll against the Islanders. Yeah. And it just completely set him back. And you know how hard those are to come back from. And so that was tough on him, but he's coming in here now. He's in unreal shape. You talk about a guy who's doing that fitness testing. You don't want to land the bench press beside him.
Yeah, no, he looks just like a Saskatchewan, just a beast.
Yeah, he'd be fun to play with on a line because you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, Hoppy would have been 6 inches taller.
He's my perfect line mate.
Hoppy always used to say, I only got one thing, boys. Hey, coach, I need a tough guy on my line. That's the only thing I need. I need a tough guy on my line. Yeah, but Coop,
he's as tough as I get.
I know what you mean in that regards because my rookie year, I got traded to Tampa, and it was 2 years after they won the Cup. And I walked in there. I didn't know anybody on the team. I walked in. It was Vinny Lecavier, Marty St. Louis, Brad Richards, Dan Boyle, John Tortorella. 2 years ago, I watched these guys, or 3 years ago, I watched them, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. So I'm sure that's human nature for some of these guys after the run you've been on that. Man, I got to jump in right away and get going for these fellas.
Well, yeah. And then plus you look at all of a sudden, like if you get traded for a first round pick, like the guys wear it and they're like, wow, I got traded for that. Like Hagel got traded for 2 first round picks. And so they come in here like Hagel didn't score forever, like coming in, he's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And so they just wear it. And you can sit here and tell them all the time, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, but they do worry about it. And it's human nature. Like when you get traded, it's different for guys. Like Jeannot had never been traded. Hagel never been traded. So it's just the range of emotions. I've really learned, I kind of know how to deal with it, but it's hard for players because they need a little like grace period to get their mind straight.
Hey, tell those boys not to worry. They're not the worst player to get traded for a first round in that franchise. Jay Feaster gave up a first round pick for me, so tell those boys just to take a deep breath because that will go down as maybe the worst trade.
Like a picture on the wall.
Feaster gave up a first rounder for me, but old Jay, I don't know what Jay. Hey, bud.
You were but we'd never get the hot dog story with Torts and the baseball. Like we wouldn't get that story if you weren't traded to Tampa.
That's true. All the video guys' fault.
Nigel, I love that guy.
Well, it's Nigel. Oh my God, yeah, did he sell you? Did he the one that put it out?
He's the one. Man, fuck, I didn't even. There wasn't iPhones back then. I know Torts must have had it. I don't know if Nigel pulled the camera out of his pocket, the old handheld, but yeah, Coop, they had me 2 footlongs, 2 beers. There we go.
Oh, jeez. Hey, Coop, so our listeners, a lot of talk over the years about our time at Discovery Properties and Gaza Ranch. We love it. You spend your summers there. How was the bull rush? I heard you hosted a couple of my boys, and I heard you make one hell of a charcuterie board, bro. How come I've never tried your charcuterie board?
So, it's kind of the end of the summer kickoff. So let's take a step back here.
Okay.
So I was actually, so sometimes I play the bull rush, sometimes I go play another member guest. I was playing another member guest. Something happened, but my partner couldn't play. So they're like, Coop, you got to play in the bull rush. I'm like, okay, but now it's a week before. So this is why I'm like, man, maybe I should get into the podcast after I'm done coaching because I call Obi and I'm like, hey, You've always wanted to come up here, the gods.
Yeah, I have.
Come be my partner. And right away he's like, Coop, I'd love to, but I'm going to Ireland. They go. I'm like, holy shit. Wow, this podcasting really must be working out for you guys. So he's like, and every time I'm like, no, I can't. I'm going to be here. So my thing, was really fortunate. My brother came up. Anyway, so everybody's always like bringing in guests and they need places to stay. And so my kids had gone back to school, so everybody left the house, and so I hosted a few guys in the league that came up, and it was fun. We'd meet at the end of the night, and I'd like to hear their stories. It was good stuff. But yeah, Obi, it blew me off for Ireland. So and then we.
Well, listen, I had to go over there and get a hole in one, Coop. Sorry, but I had to go over there and get a hole in one, fella.
Yeah, that was a pretty exciting FaceTime.
Yeah,
you guys.
Yeah,
you guys over there.
Just so you know, I've already blocked off next year for the bull rush. So I hope you don't have another partner because I already got it on my calendar.
It's so much fun, that tournament, and the hockey crew is really represented well. So it's a ton of fun. But let's just talk about the hole in one real quick.
I'll walk you on. Yeah,
you nearly got blown over. It was so windy. So for it to go in, you must be cooked it so far right or so far left to blow it back. It had to be one of the worst shots possible that ended up being like the greatest ever.
Coop, I got it.
It's the Irish gods. Coop,
no, listen.
Irish gods.
His 83-year-old caddy, Maurice, he told him to hit it right over that bunker. And if you would have seen the way he was hitting golf balls in Ireland, you would die. He was taking divots that were like 1.5 feet long. Just exploding
down a Coop.
Exploding the grass, but I mean little
green keepers.
Oh, nightmare.
Little missiles, right? And this one, Coop, I can't say he mishit it at all, but he hit it on the screws, and it landed on the front of the green with a nice one hop on the back hill, and it started rolling down, and boy, did it enter that back door.
Oh, back door. Yeah, I went a side door Sally, little back door, and I threw my hat, Coop. I picked up. He was more excited than me. I picked him up. I almost had a heart attack, Coop. He's like, let's run. I'm like, Uppy, I might go down. I don't want to die when I get a hole in one here, but let's just say I hit it hard, Coop. It would have got down 200 feet. If it was a penalty kill, it would have got down.
So like I said, I've never had one, Uppy. I'm sure you
I had a pair. I got a pair. Just like you got two cups, I got two.
You got to did you get to see a drop?
Yeah.
Guys have told me that I've had a hole in one, but I never saw it. We just kind of walked up, looking for the ball. It was like, oh my God, it's in the hole.
So, Coop, we saw it. So I was slashing it, Coop, and our caddy was an 83-year-old guy, like he was saying, old Mo. He was smoking unfiltered cigarettes, and it's the 40-mile-an-hour wind. The wind almost threw him in the fucking... So he said, Laddie, she's 135 on the ground, 165 in the air. Hit her as hard as you can to the left side of the green. And I just finally squared one up, hadn't made a par. Like he said, hit the back, Coop, and we watched it, buddy. And I had that feeling in my stomach, and I looked at, and boom, sure enough, fell down it went. So it makes you think, Coop, like to be on your 40th with your best buddies in Ireland. It was kind of weird, yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm pretty sure Mo wasn't running down the fairway after you guys.
No, Mo.
He was probably. He took his time.
Mo almost lost up his clubs in the Atlantic twice.
He's going to die a happy man now, though. It's 83 years. He'd never seen a hole in one. He's caddied his whole life.
Yeah.
Huh?
So he
never
says.
Seen a hole in one, he said.
Yeah. Never seen a hole.
And you know what I mean? Like, it was.
And I'm sure you probably kept arming him with cigars.
Oh, yeah. But you should have seen this guy. Coop, you'll love this. So I bring over a bunch of Cubans for the boys. We fly over on you talk about the podcast world. We fly over our boy Billy Quinn's private plane. So I got about 30 Cubans for the boy. Yeah. And Updog is sucking these fucking Cubans down, Coop. And I can't really smoke as much as I want because we're walking and I got my issues in my golf game. And the one day it is blowing 40 and raining. It's coming sideways. And Uppy's trying to light the cigar. He's like, Caddy, bring that umbrella over here. I'm trying to fucking get this thing.
Oh yeah.
When are we going back? Yeah, when are we going back? No, it was all for good fun.
Coop, I got a couple more questions for you on a personal level here. First of all, as ex-players, we went through the schedule, and Updog especially, he highlighted a couple places where he was excited to go. Do you do that as a coach? And second of all, do you got some new suits ready to rock? Because, fella, you're one of the best dressed coaches in the league. Do you got some new ones ready to rock? Have you seen your tailor yet, or has he come right before opening night?
Well, I had one coming for the playoffs, and then unfortunately, we didn't last very long. So that was kind of a bummer. So that one, I'm counting that one as new. So I'll let you know on that one. So as a coach, you have a part of like when you fly into cities, when you fly out, when you stay, when you go, and naturally there are some cities that get a little bit more scrutiny than others. And so, yeah.
Do
Do you sit down with the boys? Do you sit down with a couple of the boys and say, all right, like this could be an option. What do we do? Like, do you bring the leaders in for that conversation, or are you kind of making that up with the assistant coaches?
Wow, we take care of most of them. We can't give them too much power.
That's true.
Right?
No.
So no, but we do have the chat. I remember last year we had an opportunity. We were playing Dallas on the night or the day before Super Bowl Sunday. We had a noon game against Dallas in the Super Bowl. Then we had like a couple days off. And we're like, well, it's noon, noon in Dallas. We can be home by 2, have the Super Bowl at home, and then spend a couple days and then fly out west. And I gave that one to the boys. And so like, okay, we're gonna make this, potential 7-day road trip a 10-day. And no, so but no, in all seriousness, we're here, like, you're here to win.
Oh,
and we understand there are opportunities like Vegas. It's either every year we're either going to Vegas on a back-to-back and we're out, or we're going 4 days early. That's just the way it's set up. And so it's like, I've tried to figure out which way is the best time to go into Vegas. But like I said, in all seriousness, the guys are pros. And it's not so much when you go in there, at times it's, do you stay the night in the city or what have you? But I think a big part of the game is, giving the guys an opportunity to have a little fun together, because in all honesty, it is hard to find. And when you have these teams that have, so many guys, like we used to have guys that had no kids on the team. Now we've got guys that have tons of kids. So when we're at home, they spend a lot of time with their families.
Hey, I got your schedule up here. You got a nice little Western swing. You start in Vegas, San Jose, LA. Then you play the Ducks, send it off on the 24th of March, and you don't play again till the 27th. So maybe fly out on the 25th. Maybe I have to stay that night. Maybe Coop, I might have to stay that night in Orange County, bud.
I'm trying to see where
I got you
not till March.
Down here in March. I got you
not
till March. So just if you remember, just maybe fly out on the 25th. You got the bees at home on the 27th. So.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's a long flight home, eh? Save the legs.
Save the legs, Coop. Get it when you stay here. Time change. You don't want all that nonsense, Coop.
Yeah, I'm sure Killorn will have the whole circuit figured out by then. 5 months of figuring the golf courses. I see it didn't take you long to hunt him down for a golf game.
No, I didn't. His
game's good too.
He's already an honorary member, and he stripes the Coop.
It'll be interesting to see who takes over as the top golfer on the team now, because I think Killer was our guy. So now it's up for grabs.
Yeah. Well, Coop, listen, buddy, we could do this all day with you. We appreciate you taking the time, buddy. You've been great to me and Updog here at Missin Curfew. You're an absolute beauty. Good luck this year. Keep those suits looking fresh, because I love turning it on. But good luck, buddy. We're pulling for you here, Coop.
I appreciate you having me on, guys, and keep doing good work for the game. It's awesome to listen to you guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Coop.
Welcome back to Missin Curfew. Uppy, thanks to John Cooper. Nice looking office there, eh? Like,
I'd say.
I know you
win Stanley Cups. Your office looks great. There's a lot of hardware in there.
Yeah. I was like, wow, that's a proper office.
Like, still in his tracksuit. What a pro.
Well, camp started.
I mean, what time is it over there? It's 6:30.
That's the thing about coaching too, right? Like, listen, we cry poor on the studio. We come into the studio, in the air-conditioned studio for a couple hours. We fucking throw the paper and we go. Coaching's no joke.
But he used to go to training camp going, 3-hour rule. I just got here. I just stepped foot in this rink 3 hours from now, and I'm out of here.
I'm glad you bring that up. As my career went on, I was a big guy in the 3-hour rule. Calgary, I'm going to bring it up again. Sorry, folks. Bob Hartley, that fucking pigeon. Fucking weekend. I'm like, boys, we've been here for 4 hours. Like, I don't want to be the guy that call the PA, but I will. I'll call the PA. I'm out of here after 3 hours.
And for you guys listening, the 3-hour rule is it was reinstated back in probably 2012 lockout when they didn't let us play for 8 months.
You guys can't play.
And anyway, they took half our money, but they got they implemented 3 hours that you had to be at the rink for, and then you could just leave right after.
Yeah, like they technically couldn't get you in shit. Like if you were doing a drill that's 3 hours, you could just fucking pick up your stick and be like, sorry boys,
I'm
not doing this 2-on-1. It's 3 hours.
Yeah.
Now, Uppy, was it 3 hours in the building or 3 hours on the ice?
No, from the moment they told you have something to do.
Yeah.
So you're getting there early. You're not just showing up
from
with
your
a cup of coffee
when you have your morning dump from 3 hours from your morning dump.
I don't think the dump was on the board.
Yeah. Okay, have a coffee, get a heat pack, take a dump, and then what's that say? Shuttle runs? Fuck that. I'm not doing shuttle runs.
PK meeting in between that and the shuttle runs. I'm gonna have
Times the PK meeting up. I think we're missing it here. Fine, okay.
Oh, well, that was a fun interview with Coop.
I love John
We
Cooper.
could do that all day long, and we're gonna go see this cat somewhere on the road.
We're going everywhere this year. Fellow tour,
Fellow
look
tour's
out. We're
back.
coming. So, Coop, thank you. Updog, you the man. That was Missin Curfew.
Fella.